Hello everyone, in this video I am going to demonstrate the transactions that we did in our earlier video. I have a page available with me called as transaction in ADO.NET, in which I am simply binding the data to the grid view from the table employee. Now what I want, I'll write employee ID here and I'll write this updated salary of that employee and I'll say submit. Now once I submit that, I want that record to be inserted here and I want the record to be updated in employee salary table and new record to get inserted in employee salary table. That means I want to perform all these three operations. So I need to execute these three queries in a transaction. So let's see how to perform the transaction, how to code the transaction. I'll double click this button. Now initial steps are same: getting the connection string, making the connection and creating the command. Now this time I don't want to write select command, I want to write an update command, that is an initial update command, and I'll paste it here. Back, where employee salary, I'll pass the parameter at esal, employee ID, I'll say at eid. Here I'll add the parameters to the command with the help of cmd dot parameters dot add with value at esal value from text box 1. Dot text box 1, I'll be getting EID. Now I'll say cmd dot parameters dot add with value at esal. This I'll get value from text box 2 dot text. Now what is it I'll do? I'll create one more command, that is another update command. Simply copy this, paste it here. This is command, say command 1, and say this is command 2. Now what is my command 2? Command 2 is again an update. Just paste it here, delete. Update employee salary set end date as get date, that's true. Where employee ID is at EID, and so. So I need only single parameter here, that is nothing but employee ID. I'll write one more command, that is nothing but command 3, and this time I'm going to perform insert operation on it. In this again I need two parameters, it is nothing but at EID and at esal. and I need to pass another parameter. That should be eSal. So I say command 3, command 3. So till now I haven't done any new thing. I'm simply preparing 3 commands and adding parameters to that from 2 text boxes. Now I want to execute these 3 commands. So I'll say cmd1 dot execute non-query, cmd2 dot execute non-query, cmd3 dot execute non-query. Before executing the queries, I should have opened the connection. So I'll say con dot open. After executing the queries, I'll close the connection. So this is what my normal implementation. But if this query fails, I need to roll back these 2 execute non-queries. How do I do that? To do that, I need to use SQL transaction class. I'll say SQL transaction SQTARNS SQTrans equals to I want to perform transaction on the connection con. So I'll say con dot begin transaction. That means I want to perform transaction on this connection object. Now I want all these 3 commands to run under this transaction. So I should associate each command with this transaction. I'll say cmd1 dot transaction equals to sqtrans. Copy this, paste it, paste it. Say command 1, command 2, command 3. I want all this command to run under this transaction, and I have a doubt that an exception would occur while executing these queries. So I'll put this part in try catch block. I just go for try, executing these things. If all the things are perfect, then commit the transaction, sqtrans.commit. If anything goes wrong, please roll back the transaction, sq.trans rollback, and display a message saying that response.write trans action rolled back. If everything goes well after committing the transaction, put a message saying that transaction completed. Finally, whether an exception occurs or exception does not occur, whether transaction commits or transaction gets rolled back, I need to close the connection. So I'll put con.close in final block. This is the best practice. Now let me see whether the things are fine. Oops. I should make it EID, and here I should have get date. Things are fine. Now I'll execute this. This should perform a transaction. employee ID 1, update the salary to 7,500, 75,000. Click the button. Transaction completed. That means salary got updated. Let's check that. Salary got updated to 7,000, 75,000, and I have the updated record and the old record. The latest salary is 75,000. Now let me update the salary of Peter. I'll change it to 23,000. Transaction completed. Salary of Peter is 23,000 and I have the information in my history table. Latest salary of Peter is 23,000. Start date, end date, start date, end date is null, that is nothing but your latest salary. Now let me try to create an exception. Let us see. Say, if I say get date as some string, that means my command 1 will get executed successfully, command 2 will get executed successfully, but it will throw an exception at command 3. So while executing command 3, it will throw an exception, it will go to the catch block, it will roll back what all the operations it has performed. So let me execute this and check it. It is showing the latest salary here. Now I'll say Peter, I want to update the salary to 43,000. Transaction rolled back. Let me check. It still contains the old salary. So this is very nice feature of your ADO.NET where you can implement transactions. So transaction is nothing but it is sequence of operations. If all the operations are successful, then you can say that your transaction is successful. If any of these operations fails, then your transaction gets failed. You need to roll it back. All the queries that we executed earlier will get rolled back. So this is how you can implement transaction. And one more important point, that is you will never find any real-time project without the concept of transaction. Any real-time project requires the concept of transaction at any place. So that's it. This is how you can implement the transaction. You can also use the single command. Instead of creating n number of SQL commands object, you can use the same command object and you can assign the text here itself and you can use it for the transaction. Just for your simplification, so that you should understand the concept well, I have used various objects, new object for each command. I can also work with a single command, and in try itself I'll just assign the command text and I'll say execute non-query. Again I'll assign the command text, I'll say execute non-query. So even in that way I can work with single command object. Just to understand the things easily, I have used n number of SQL command object. But if you are proceeding in this way in your projects, there is no problem. So that's it. This is all about your SQL transactions. Thank you very much.